Marvel's Spider-Man marks a much-needed return to form for the web-slinger, and although the game's open-world formula has been done to death by now, it still manages to raise the standards for the entirety of the superhero genre, similar to what we saw nearly a decade ago with the Arkham series. Marvel's Spider-Man is a game all about checking things off a giant open-world map, all while advancing the main missions when you see fit. This game's open world design is stunning visually and gameplay on point, but know what you're getting into beforehand. This game's overall structure is a continuation of the numerous open world games that often oversaturated much of last generation. Towers that uncover the map while doing a full 360 pan of the area? Check. A plethora of checklist style collectibles hidden all around the map? Got it. Giant hideouts of goons waiting to be liberated? Yep. Side activities that often feel different and the same all at once? Check. QuickTime events to pull off cooler stuff than achievable during gameplay? Yes, check again. Although all of these on paper sound like a game you've already played numerous times, the always enjoyable gameplay, polished activities, and overall impressive attention to detail that this game fosters makes up for its somewhat lack of innovation with sheer brute force gaming quality. Every aspect from stopping dynamic crimes to catching fleeing pigeons is always rewarding thanks to Spider-Man's fluid control while traversing this giant city, along with his deep web of combat abilities that make every encounter feel like you're in a scene straight out of a comic panel. The combat system is snappy and dynamic, all while feeling cinematic without ever taking away too much control from the player. I greatly appreciate its focus on feeling more like a traditional action game rather than a parrying rhythmic dance. You're encouraged to do everything but stand still on the ground and wait for enemies to attack you. Instead, maybe launch someone into the air, juggle them for a while, fling them into a guy pulling a gun on you, and then web both of them at the same time. As soon as you're airborne during fights, the majority of ranged enemies have a much harder time hitting you, which makes mobility and tactical ingenuity at the forefront of combat. You know, just like how Spider-Man handles encounters. Stealth takedowns offer a great way to thin the herd and neutralize dangerous ranged enemies before going in gadgets blazing with a broad arsenal of offensive and defensive tools. These upgradable gadgets allow you to modify the game to your preferred playstyle, along with changeable suits with various powers, ability-altering augments, and a skill tree that offers just enough flexibility to be satisfying. Your combo meter builds up your focus, which can be used to perform instant finishers on enemies, or also, interestingly enough, to heal. This adds an intriguing risk-reward mechanic in a genre not usually known for its difficulty, and this puts the challenge of many encounters into the player's hands. Playing on spectacular difficulty, I definitely had to regularly consider to either quickly dispatch a group of enemies or to top off my health. This is a great way to reward players who fight well, and gives people having a difficult time in combat a more offensive approach to health recovery. I will not be going into story details here, but the overall adventure is quite enjoyable once it gets going. However, you might be surprised by its relatively slow pace in the first half. Every scene is cinematically captured, perfectly acted, and when it wants to go for epic, it knows exactly how to pull it off. It's what I would consider the best overall story for a superhero game up to this point. Its more down-to-earth approach helps set it apart from its more campy and comic-inspired predecessors.
Good to see you, Pete.
Yeah, you too. Not exactly how I pictured us meeting again, though.
Funny. It's exactly how I pictured it.
If Marvel's Spider-Man came out last generation, I would be sitting here telling you this is the greatest open world game ever made, but in 2018, this is structurally a very safe open world game that takes a tried but true formula and chooses to perfect it. Spider-Man smartly focuses on what matters most in gaming and provides stellar moment-to-moment gameplay that makes many of the shortcomings fall to the wayside thanks to the pure web-slinging fun you're having. If you like this style of review, consider subscribing and checking out my Patreon that can really help me increase the production values of my content in the future. This has been Deadite from Boomstick Gaming, and thanks for watching.